Alright guys, welcome to RC Mojo and the continuing mission to build this MC8. Last time we got the truck rolling and gave it a little test. Since it all seemed to be mechanically sound, we can start on the detailing. I won't go into too much detail here about the painting, except to say you need to lay a few thin coats of grey primer, leave it to fully dry, then lay lots of thin coats of your chosen colour. One day I might get round to doing a guide. Well, anyway, as well as painting the bulk of the bodywork, there's also a few detail parts. They come as a natural colour ABS, so like the body, a bit of primer and some colour. I used good old matte black, so it all matched up with the rubber and metal parts. And of course I missed one, so at some point in this video you'll see this bit fitted and painted by the power of magic. Okay, more painting, this time the back of the LEDs. While most of the light will come out the curved lens end, a certain amount will get reflected back, meaning when the LEDs are fitted there will be a small amount of light coming from the wrong side of the clusters. Easy to fix though. Lay on a nice thick coat of white paint around the base of the LED, leave it to dry, then go over the white with some black. Simple. Right, here's the painted cab. The outside is Halford's camo green, the inside is left bare primer. Oh, and the MAN logo comes with a kit. It's cut acrylic, so to fit it you need to peel off the paper backing, rough up the surface and stick it on with a tiny amount of epoxy. The hard bit is getting it in the right position, but it's nothing a ruler and some maths can't handle. The machine parts all fit into machined holes in the body. The hinges even have slots to fit into, so they lay nice and straight. I like that a lot. We're going to use two types of glue. The first is some good old 5-minute epoxy for the plastic parts, and second is this GWS glue for the rubber parts. Why two types? Well, the epoxy goes rock hard and of course the rubber is soft, so the epoxy would crack and the parts fall off. The GWS glue stays just slightly flexible, making for a good joint. Now, since most model shops don't stock the GWS glue, my stash comes from a large quantity of GWS aircraft kits, you can have a look at something like Yoo-Hoo Pour. It should do the job just as well. Now, you may also be wondering why we've stopped using the Plasti-Weld. All the parts are plastic, right? Well, Plasti-Weld needs a clean surface, free of contaminants. The paint will stop the Plasti-Weld making a good joint. It would probably soften the paint, giving some adhesion, but it would never be great. As long as you clean the plastic before painting and use thin coats, leaving it to completely dry, the epoxy will work just fine. Now there's no point in me showing all the bits going on, but here's the gist of it. Mix up a small amount of epoxy, use a cocktail stick to put a small drop into the machined hole, push it around a bit, then carefully drop the part on top. What you don't ever want to do is lift the part back off the body. You'll pull a string of the epoxy and it will fall onto the paint and you'll never get it off. Be careful. When you've loaded up one face, move the cab off to the side. The epoxy might say 5 minutes, but I'd leave it for a good 30 minutes just to make sure we can't accidentally disturb the parts. Because of our removable roof, we can get on with that while we wait. All the magnet holes got filled with some Isopon and wet sanded smooth before paint. The remaining holes are all for the detail parts and go all the way through. So we don't want to make a mess of the table and the underside of the roof. I'm going to stick some masking tape over the bottom of the holes. Then, just like with the cab, a little bit of epoxy, then pop the part in. As long as you remember to paint all of them. Now the first side of the cab has had a nice good chance to harden up. I'm now going to fit the wheel arches. You could mask off the area before paint and use some Plasti-Weld, or if you're going for one colour, weld it before paint. But a thin layer of epoxy on properly adhered paint will work just fine. And of course, now is a good time to make a cup of tea and leave it all to harden up. And now to the front and those little bumper vent thingamabobs, whatever they may be. They just need a little bit of epoxy in the slots, then they get pressed in. Keep an eye on the alignment while they harden up. Oh, and now first bit of rubber, a smear of GWS glue or other rubbery stuff, then press it in. Simple. Okay, windows. Use some more of the GWS glue and very carefully put a few small smears on the cab where the window sits. We want to use the rubbery glue so when the cab flexes the glue won't crack. Peel off the film from the window and put it in place. Make sure you don't have any of the glue on your fingers as you won't get it off the window. The other window is the same, then we can pop in the window surrounds. A bit of GWS glue on the gluing face, then carefully pop it in. Pretty easy to do and looks pretty tidy, I reckon. The side windows are a bit more tricky as the surrounds aren't separate from the cab, so you need to hand paint them. If you painted the cab a matte colour, you can just use some thinned Tamiya paint, really thin layers built up. If you painted in gloss, you'll need to rough up the surface a bit first. The windows go in just the same as the front ones though, just from the inside. Right, let's do some LEDs. The paint should be dry by now, so we just need to watch out for the labels and which goes where. Here's a little diagram of what goes where. Most are self-explanatory. J3 and 4 seem to be always on, and J15 can be shorted with a provided link if the reverse lights come on when you move the truck forward. The red wire goes towards the bottom, the pin nearest the PCB. We'll start with the headlights, J1 and 2. Easy enough to find as they're the big LEDs. You'll need to separate them from the others so you can get them through the holes. They get fitted to the metal guards with a small screw each. The connector just goes through the hole in the floor and the guards get fitted with the 4 small self-tappers we used in the test run video. The indicators are a bit more of a fiddle. Feed one of the indicators through the hole, making sure you get one for the right side. Pop one of the rubber housing parts part way over the LED. Apply a little bit of GWS glue or other rubbery stuff, then press it on the rest of the way. The LED should be right up against the end of the housing. Then run a little bit of glue around the inside of the hole and press the housing and LED into place. Try not to disturb it too much for a few hours. If you're careful, you can do the rest of the indicators now. The side repeaters go in just the same way. Pretty good so far. We'll have to come up with something to keep the cables a bit tidy though. Again, if we're careful, we can fit the other rubber parts too. The mirrors need these shiny stickers fitted. If you want them to stick well, you really don't want to touch the sticky side. Ideally, you want to degrease the face of the rubber mirror. The easiest way to get the stickers on is with an oil-free blade. Carefully lift the corner and stick it to the blade. Peel it back and transfer it to the rubber bit. Simple, and make sure the glue on the sticker works as it should. Then you just need to put a bit of GWS glue on the posts and fit them through the holes in the cab. The side mirror fits in just the same way, just without the shiny stuff. More of the same for the wipers, bit of glue, stick them in. One minor issue though, they don't make contact with the window. A few spots of something like Evo stick should keep them in place though, so not really a big problem. And this I think is the last bit on the cab, the spare wheel. Just as when we did the test fit, there's a long screw that holds it on, just this time I'm fitting the screw from the inside. Through the wheel and frame, and the metal bar piece, then a black nylock nut to hold it all together. I think it looks just a little bit better like this. Yep, that's the last bit for this video. Time's up. Thanks so much for watching, hope you enjoyed it. If so, leave a like, and if you're not already, why not subscribe? It's free! Bye guys!